and a very good evening to everybody. My name is RJ Ada. I'm Ada, but RJ Ada on Radio Nasha, Mumbai. And of course, we are here for a very, very special reason. As you all know, from the past lot of weeks, we've been hearing a lot of amazing things from the lovely gentleman who is with me here, Mr. Ignello Rajesh. He's a social and a serial entrepreneur and one of the largest villa developers in India. And I was mentioning to him my love for villas. He's the chairman of St. Angelo's VSCT Ventures, as we all know, and he develops villas across Thane, near Mumbai, Chennai, Madurai, and Coimbatore. So, welcome, Mr. Ignello. And first and foremost, nowadays it's very important to ask someone, how are you?
I'm doing awesome, Ada. I'm looking forward for this show with you, and I'm sure I'm
Yeah.
going to enjoy it.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it too. So we're here to also, of course, talk about mindfulness. And when we hear the term mindfulness, what it immediately gives me the feeling is to be mindful of what's exactly happening right now. Am I right?
Absolutely, absolutely,
So what
absolutely.
is mindfulness, Mr. Ignara?
Well, Ada, mindfulness is the practice of purposely focusing your attention on the present moment and
Okay.
accepting it absolutely without creating a judgment. I
Okay.
would like to give you an example. I'm a great follower of Shivaji Maharaj. I love his strategies, the way he has created history, and the way he was undefeated throughout his life. The
Absolutely.
famous story of Afzal Khan that everybody knows about, where he
Yeah.
beat him up and he could win over him. The pure reason why Shivaji Maharaj was so successful was he was an absolutely mindful leader and a reader also, a reader of the situation of the person and the environment around him. In a straight battle, it was no way that he could have won over Afzal Khan because he had a mightier army. But he
Yes.
strategized, and his guerrilla warfare is famous today to an extent that in Vietnam fought the war with America with his strategies and techniques, and because of which Shivaji Maharaj is so well respected in Vietnam that they have his birthplace soil kept in a jar in Vietnam, and it is being respected there as a token of respect. So mindfulness can make you a great leader, and it can
Mhm.
make you do whatever you are doing in a much better way, and always will lead you to victory. That, according to me, is what is mindfulness: being aware of the current moment, the situation around you, reading it right, and taking decisions based on that.
Wow. And the current moment right now is that we are in conversation with Mr. Ignalo. And everyone who's watching, I hope you're fine wherever you're watching from. Keep commenting and thank you so much for joining in. The next question to you, Mr. Ignalo, is how is mindfulness relevant to our mental health? How does it help us?
Well, it is critically important, Ada. Mindfulness is one such practice that the usefulness for those suffering from anxiety, depression, or even daily stress can be
Oh my
resolved.
God. Oh my God.
Mindfulness will make you peaceful and happy. And once you're peaceful and happy, you become absolutely productive. Friends, being mindful is also about changing the perception. Like every situation has a perception. So let me give you a case study. We all know the case study of a boy who was crying for shoes. And when he became mindful, after he saw a boy without feet, he stopped crying. Why did he stop crying? If we interpret that situation, he realized mindfully that at least he has got feet and is crying for shoes. What about the boy who doesn't have the feet? I would like to give one more case study, Ada, here. The case study for the people who are into sales. There was a person who was sent to Africa from a shoe selling company to check the market study. So
Okay.
two people were sent. One came back, Ada, and one said that in Africa, in that particular country, nobody wears shoes, so there is no market. The other person visited the same country, and his report was totally different. He became mindful of a big market possibility, and he
Correct.
comes and reports saying that, sir, there is nobody who has started wearing the shoes, so there is 100% market availability. So your mindfulness is also connected to the perceptions that you build, the
Correct.
perception that you understand and you absorb, and then you decide on your way forward. So perception and mindfulness also goes hands in hand. It depends on how you interpret a particular situation and become mindful about an available opportunity or the surroundings or the market that you are surveying. So I think mindfulness does create a difference.
Wow. Okay, but it sounds a lot like, no, it doesn't sound a lot like, but what if someone would say कि difference क्या है between mindfulness and meditation? Because even
Uh,
meditation is about being in the moment. So is mindfulness. So फिर क्या, what is the
So,
difference.
Ada, it's a very thin line of difference. Mindfulness is the awareness of something. It can be
Okay.
anything. It can be the awareness of the things around you, the people around you, awareness about what you're thinking about for the immediate moment. So, it is about something. Whereas meditation, Ada, is the awareness of nothing, nothing. You go blank, you go light, you feel good. We know
Okay.
about the savasana in yoga, where you go flat on your back and you just
Yeah.
forget about everything
It's the
else and
best
you go
asana.
blank. Yeah, it is the best asana. I love it. That's the best part of yoga that I love.
Yeah.
And it is, and meditation is also impactful. It makes you feel lighter. It makes you refreshed. We are used to refreshing our computers, but you can refresh
Yeah.
yourself by doing meditation. Might be for 30 seconds, 60 seconds, or for an hour, doesn't matter, but it
Correct.
refreshes you. And our honorable prime minister also promotes meditation and yoga in a very, very big way. In fact, India is known for the meditation techniques that we have exported to the Western countries, and they are also enjoying meditation now. So, small difference. uh, uh, Mindfulness is being aware about something, and meditation is making sure you're not thinking about anything. That is nothing.
Ah, all right. So can this be developed with time? Mindfulness, this habit be developed with
Yes,
time?
Ada, it needs practice. Mindfulness is available to us in every moment, whether
Okay.
through meditations and body scans or mindful moment practices like taking time to pause and breathe. It is like we are so used to getting mechanically responding to things that whenever a phone ring, we just rush to answer it. But if you not do that, and if you pause and enjoy the moment, and probably that phone call is going to still be there, you can always call back rather than leaving something which is important at hands. The objective of mindfulness is please focus whatever is at hands, and after you complete that, get into something else. You'll get better results.
Hmm.
Mindfulness is a habit which can be developed, Ada. It's a mind
Okay.
muscle which functions on the basis of the practice that we do. So we need to train this mind muscle. It's an habit.
Okay.
Ada, if you practice, if you practice it till it becomes a normal habit as normal as breathing. Let me share something. So if breathing had to be remembered to be done, half the world would have been dead, as we would have forgotten to breathe
Yeah.
because we are
Yeah.
so busy in our daily routine
True.
of
True.
stress management.
Yes.
So it is as important a habit like breathing. It should become your second nature. Mindfulness, once practiced regularly, becomes a part of your reactions to the environment around you. That you'll be
Hmm.
mindful of what's at hand, keep everything rest aside, and unless it is an emergency, of course, and just be mindful of the subject that you are currently focusing on. That will give you better productivity.
Oh, that's super. I'd also like to thank everybody who's joined us, who are being mindful and listening to this interview. You are in the moment with us, so please keep your comments and love coming. You said that, of course, that practicing is something that comes with time. Actually, with anything, so mindfulness is a part of it. So, what are the essential mindfulness and meditation practices?
There are a few practices which you can definitely do, but I would like to focus majorly on five essential elements to creating a mindfulness and meditation practice in daily life. The
Okay.
first is we should always, this applies to everything in life, we should always prepare ourselves. The
Mm.
second is bring your heart into it, not only your mind. Your heart should also get connected to what you're focusing your time on, what you're focusing your efforts on. We all of us are always having a habit to live in the past. We always have the feeling of a guilt. It is very important for having mindfulness as a regular habit. We need to also develop a habit of forgiving ourselves. We need to forgive ourselves for whatever wrong or mistakes that would have happened.
Okay.
At the same time, the fourth point that I would like to share is we need to have an attitude of gratitude. Whenever we express
Mm.
gratitude to the people around us for whatever they have done for us, knowingly, unknowingly, consciously, subconsciously, doesn't matter. But when you express gratitude, people come more closer to you. They acknowledge your gratitude. And the
True.
fifth element that I would like to share is we need to always find a good buddy, a good friend. A person like me has lovely, good friends all across the world. So having friends always helps you to be happy and satisfied. So if you have got these 4 or 5 elements, you might have 50, but basically, if you have these 4 or 5 elements, I feel it can make a lot of difference. I would love to repeat that. One is prepare yourself. Second is bring your heart into it along with your mind. Third is you should forgive yourself. You should not have a complaint mode against yourself. Fourth is having attitude of gratitude. And fifth is we need to find a good buddy or buddies or friends, and that will dramatically change the way you live, and it will add to your happiness quotient.
Yeah, and these times, I think these are all the more important, considering we are in the past because of lockdown. We think of life before lockdown, and we don't thank, and we're not thankful for the things we have. So we always thinking what we don't have, and also it's great to make friends. So we're also here, right here with you. I'm Ada. This is Mr. Agnello Rajesh, and we're both your new friends from now. We're talking about mindfulness with you.
Absolutely,
Um,
absolutely.
so. How do we make an environment that's conducive for mindfulness and practices
Uh,
like these?
your environment plays a very critical role, Ada. It can be very challenging to be mindful if you are living in an unfriendly environment.
Correct.
Let me share some tips to create an enabling environment which can help you to be mindful of whatever you're focusing on, because that focus is
Mm.
going to lead to better productivity and better results,
Mhm.
especially in the environment. Like, suppose if I'm sitting in here in this particular one part of my office, in the
Mhm.
house that I have created, I need to make sure that I declutter the area around me, because physical clutter often results in mental confusion, and it causes anxiety. So try
Okay.
to keep the place where you're operating as clean and as
Okay.
open and as tidy
Correct.
as possible. It helps you
Correct.
with your thought process. Second, I
Correct.
would like to suggest is the ambience need to be correct. The correct use of lighting and a good fragrance also opens up your mind. It makes you feel
Yeah.
fresh. It helps you in getting mindful of what you're doing. It goes a long way in putting you in a mindful state. So that is also
Right.
one thing that I would love to recommend. You should be utilizing aromatherapy. Essential oils can be an incredibly calming process to your mind before you go to sleep, or when you're working, or when you're trying to do some important assignment. Some people do it with fragrance, some people do it with music, some people do it with
Music.
fragrance and music, some people do it with silence. You might have your way, but you need to be conscious about getting things done. You need to be setting the light in your room in a way which calms you, which doesn't hit you in the face or disturbs your eyes, but which calms you. And of course, when you do all of these things, definitely results will change. There are a lot of
Mm.
people, Ada, who use plants to purify the air while
That's
being,
true.
by placing plants around you in your rooms or in
Yeah.
your office or
Yeah.
the place of work. It
Yeah.
definitely gives you good thoughts when you're working. When you look at a plant, you really
Yeah.
feel good. Some people have pets, some people have plants, some people have paintings, but all these are elements which can definitely add and help you in absolutely very good way of making you mindful about what you're doing.
Wow. And what is the kind of fragrance that you like? What is it? Musky, floral when you are
Oh,
around or in your properties? What is the matching fragrance that with a
uh,
view that you like?
yes. So I love rose and I love sandalwood. That absolutely eases
Ah,
my mind. I just
interesting.
love it. I just love it.
Well, in fragrances, I think lemongrass is one of my favorites. It's such an
Awesome.
amazing
It
fragrance.
is. It is. I have
So,
smelt it at a couple of hotel properties and lobbies and
yeah.
all of that. It's awesome.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. You can turn your house into a lovely spa with that.
Yeah.
Okay, so what are the common hindrances when you practice mindfulness? Or you've spoken about things that you should have. What are the things
There are,
that you should know?
yeah. So there are a couple of hindrances that human beings face, because of which they are a little away from being mindful. Some of
Mm-hmm.
the hindrances are like non-practical desires or greed,
Mm-hmm.
ill will. If you have
Mm-hmm.
got some bad thoughts in your mind, if you have got
Right.
anger in your mind,
Correct.
if you are restless and you have anxiety, or you're worrying about the future, or you're bothered about the past, this can definitely drift you away from being mindful. And people who always doubt, like if you're in doubt, it is very difficult for you to bring your focus and becoming mindful onto the current subject at hand. So these are
Correct.
some of the elements which take you away from being mindful.
Hmm. Like right now, if I'm not mindful about what's happening, I wouldn't be able to concentrate on the next question, which is very, very important. That what are the steps one can take to be mindful every day? So, of
Well,
course, now we know the importance. Steps are
uh,
very important.
yes. So there are people who have consciously become mindful. There are people who consciously do meditation. The practice is best done first thing in the morning. Actually, before we start checking our phones or our emails. Today, we are all used to the first thing, even before we open our eyes, we have got our mobile
Yeah,
in our
that's
hand,
true.
and we are wanting to check the
I want
latest
to see who's
message.
liked, who's messaged, who's commented.
Absolutely. That 6 hours or 8 hours of your sleep must have given you so many messages that you want
Yes,
to first
exactly.
read them out and, absolutely
Exactly.
reply back to them as
Yeah,
if
yeah.
this is the last moment of life and you have to reply everybody in a great hurry.
It could
So,
be for all.
we have case studies of people like Mark Zuckerberg and Steve Jobs. They try
Correct.
to simplify their life, Ada. So, what does a Mark Zuckerberg or Steve Jobs do, or what did Steve Jobs do?
Hmm.
He's no more around with us, which we all know, but I'm a great follower and admirer of Steve
Yes.
Jobs. They reduced their life to minimalistic of decision making.
Right.
We invest a lot of time in what we intend to wear and the color of the shirt, the color of the suit, the color of the
Correct.
trousers. So
Correct.
people like Mark Zuckerberg, they have reduced decision making so that their mind is occupied on more critical decision making processes that they need in their day to day and moment to moment life. So there are people who simplify their life, and the common elements to be used, they freeze it to a no choice zone. A no
Correct.
choice zone means this is what I wear, this is what I eat, this is how I travel. So they make it as a no choice zone, and they try to improve on their productivity. Each one has his own way. Nobody is fully right, nobody is fully wrong, but each one of
Correct.
has his way. Like I've given an example of Mark Zuckerberg or Steve Jobs. Steve Jobs also used to always wear a t-shirt and a jeans, and they have become legendary. And Mark Zuckerberg also does the same thing. But I would like to
Right.
say that when we wake up, we need to sit down in our bed or a chair in a very relaxed posture, close our eyes, and connect with the sensations of your seated body. We need to make sure that our spine is straight and not rigid.
I
So
think
I
everybody should do it. Everybody who's watching us should do this.
so they
Why don't
should
you
sit
repeat
tight
it for
with
them?
your back rigid, and absolutely, actually, you can do what I'm saying. We should take three long, deep, nourishing
Let's do
breaths.
it.
You get me? So let's do it.
Okay, everybody. Let's do
Okay,
it. Three. Okay,
three.
to repeat what I know Rajesh sir said, that back straight, comfortable position, close your
Yes,
eyes, and let's breathe on the count of one,
two,
two,
and three.
three.
So you must have realized that when you take your breath from your nose and leave it through your mouth, and it's settled, so your breath settles in its own rhythm as you simply follow it in and out, noticing
Right.
the rise and fall of your chest and belly as you breathe. We all experience that now when we did this
Yes.
rise. We
Yes.
also need to ask ourselves, Ada. We need to
Hmm.
absolutely ask ourselves, what is my intention today? We need to
Right.
understand this at the beginning of the day. What is my intentions today? What is my goal today? When we use this kind of prompts to answer that question, you will think about the people and the activities that you have during the day. You get
Yeah.
me? So you need to
Yeah.
ask yourself, how might I show up today to have the best impact? Like, for example, I was absolutely mindful of this session before the session started. We were on
Yeah.
the show 15 minutes earlier, and we were
Yeah.
mindful of what we are
Yeah.
going to discuss during the show and how we
True.
are going to maintain the flow. So that is
True.
preparedness. We can do this preparedness absolutely being mindful of what you are going to be handling for the next few minutes. So
Correct.
for example, how I might show up today to have the best impact and to deliver value to the people and the audience, my lovely friends who are watching us, and they are investing their time and attention and focus, and they are also being mindful about what we are talking today. So how can we do it in the best possible way so that they can have a takeaway which will impact their investing of time with us? What quality of mind do I want to strengthen and develop is what we need to analyze every single day in the morning. What do I need to take better care of myself?
Mm.
In what area should I improve or take better care of myself? Well, during difficult moments, like there are people who classify the current moments as a little difficult moments. We
Correct.
need to ask Ada how I might be more compassionate to others and to myself. It is not only being compassionate to myself and not to others, or only to others and not to myself. It is a two-way traffic. I need to be compassionate with myself as well as with the others. Both need to happen. And I would also like to ask this question every morning, that how might I feel more connected and fulfilled? What are those activities which will make me feel more connected and fulfilled? So I think if you ask this couple of questions, and this takes not more than 3 to 5 minutes in the morning, it is just
Correct.
this 3 to 5 minutes. And Ada, let me tell you, this pandemic, sitting at home, we have really innovated the way we are living. We have become
True.
mindful and we have become thoughtful. And these are few of the actions that I've taken. And every in the morning, 3 to 5 minutes, I give to myself, make my mind blank, focus on the day's activity, and I'm absolutely better prepared. And I also recollect what is the conversation which is incomplete and needs to be taken forward ahead. So you need to set your attention for the day. For example, today I will be kind to myself. I will be patient with others. I will give generously. You need to absolutely persevere in what you have and have fun. You need to eat right. You need to eat well. And anything else that you feel important to be done, you need to absolutely keep it in place. That is what I would recommend.
Wow. And for people who are joining us, kindly, let us know if you're enjoying the session. What are you exactly enjoying? If you agree and what you'd like to add, we'd love to see and hear from you. We're talking about mindfulness with Agnello Rajesh. So you did somewhere tell us about, in this current scenario, how we can be peaceful and mindful. So anything you'd like to focus on more in this current scenario? How can, especially in these times?
So let me share a case study, Ada. So
Hmm.
I always say mindfulness is the miracle by which we master and restore ourselves. And we should be always mindful of what's happening around us and what can suddenly happen around us. So I would
Correct.
like to give an example, Ada. On the
Hmm.
10th of September 2018, around 4:30 in the evening, I met with a life-threatening accident in Toronto, Canada. I would have
Okay.
been dead and gone on that day, on 10th of September 2018. But what
Okay.
happened was I was traveling in a car which was not at a great speed. It was around 70, 80 kilometers an hour. And suddenly
Okay.
on a four-road junction, the signal was green for us to go. I was not on the driving seat. I was on the passenger seat next to the driving seat. And
Okay.
suddenly, in spite of we having a green signal, at the four-road junction, one BMW took a left turn and came in front of us. Those
Oh.
4 seconds were the longest, shortest moments of my life. In
I can
4 seconds,
imagine.
I saw a death coming to me at a speed of almost 70, 80, 100 kilometers an hour. And we had a head on collision. Head on collision. So, what do you think I would have done at that moment? Instantly, in 4 seconds, I could see the death coming. In 4 seconds, I realigned myself. We had
Hmm.
already, the accident had already happened, and both the cars were totally damaged. Fortunately, my first look was towards the safety of my friend. I realized nothing has happened to me. I looked at my friend, then I looked at the guy who was driving the other car, the BMW.
Correct.
He
Hmm.
also came out on the other side because in Canada it's left and drive, and he was on the right. We banged him on the right hand side door of his car, and he was on the other side. So he also came out from the other side of the car. So I realized that I was mindful that none of us has got any body injuries. My friend
Hmm.
was at the steering wheel, his hands were trembling. So now what happens during these accidents? There are people who have heart failure, there are people who get heart
Correct.
attack. So I was instantly mindful and I told my friend that you be grounded now, don't shiver, nothing is wrong, everybody is safe, nobody has died, nobody is injured. Now let us be conscious about what has happened and let us take the first step out of this. Immediately we got down from the car. The cars were totally crashed, but that situation of mindfulness really helped us from a psychological casualty. I
Right.
could have gone crazy in my head, my friend could have gone crazy in his head, or the other guy would have gone crazy in his head. But we were mindful and we coaxed each other. And immediately we came down to ground scenario, real scenario, that we are alive, we are thankful, we are grateful to God, we are alive. Now let us take precautious steps that need to be done, which is going
Correct.
to the police station. And it was Canada. So within 3 minutes, the police came in and they started towing our vehicles, and we went to the police station. And rest is history. I'm still here, hale and hearty, and talking to you. But after the accident was done and we were over with the procedures of the police station, I became mindful of what could have happened. I could have been crippled, I could have been dead. What are my incomplete
True.
responsibilities? What are my incomplete commitments? What about my
True.
family? So I became mindful about that. That made me more matured after that incident. So mindfulness helps you to plan your life, shape your life, secure your life, and be correct with your decision making in life.
Wow, that was quite an example. I think we all face these things, and now when someone else shares their experience, and we get a way to associate it. So how do you now manage in this scenario to be peaceful and mindful? And that you would also like to tell people.
Well, Ada, mindfulness can be of tremendous help during current times, the pandemic
Right.
times. It helps us to
Right.
reduce anxiety, calm the amygdala. Amygdala is the survival part of the brain, which increases our ability to think. When we
Hmm.
can control amygdala, which is the survival part of the brain, it increases our ability to think creatively and empathetically, take over
Correct.
other people's perspectives also. Like once again, I
Mm-hmm.
would like to talk about Steve Jobs. Steve Jobs, as an early adapter of this technique, described his experiences in a very different way. He used to always say that you start to see things more clearly and be more in the present once you start becoming mindful. And he
Right.
used to also say that your mind just slows down in mindfulness and you see a tremendous expanse in the current moment. You see so much more than you could have seen before. That is how he used to describe mindfulness. And I absolutely agree to what Steve Jobs had to say about his opinion about mindfulness. So actually in my work, I've observed three practices that help in crisis times of crisis. One is
Mm-hmm.
mindfulness. We should meditate mindfulness. That is the first thing in the morning that needs to be done. We need to
Right.
start a meeting with a few minutes of deep breaths. Now this is something that I have also started doing in the last few days. We need to start taking a few deep breaths. It refreshes you, and you need
Correct.
to step back when you get caught in unproductive and thought patterns. So like if you have thoughts which are negative in nature, you need to step back a little and then start rethinking. So I would like
Correct.
to give you a case study again. I have a very
Okay.
young entrepreneur friend. His name is Sandeep Pote, and he's into the
Mm.
logistics business. So when the lockdown started and nobody was allowed to travel, including the essential vehicles in the beginning stage, he got panicked because he had got too many vehicles and he had too many drivers and too many expenses to support, and the business has stalled. So he was speaking to me, and I told him that just hold on. This is an opportunity zone for you, and in all probability, being in the logistics sector, you might grow. Forget about not doing business. You might grow and your demand might increase. His company's name is CV
Mm.
Logistics. And trust me, that changes perspective of looking at the situation. And today, he's one of the happiest entrepreneurs that I know. He has already crossed 200 vehicles. He has put on a couple of large customers as his regular customers, and he's been providing services to all the lockdown people of Mumbai by providing them fruits and vegetables at their doorsteps, working in coordination with a large company for whom he is doing logistics management. So when you change your perspective, everything around you changes. So that's about being mindful and looking at the current situation with a different spectacle.
Wow. So, I mean, apart from being dealing with property and knowing a lot of things like mindfulness, you're also a business coach, Mr. Agnalo. All right. How does the past and future impact mindfulness? I mean, it's about being in the moment, but how does past and future impact?
So your everybody has a past and everybody thinks about the future. There is an author called Author Tolle. I spell it as Tolle. I don't know how you will pronounce it. His spelling is Tolle. Everybody should look out onto him. And he has a very interesting secret weapon. So in The Power of Now, he says that he provides a trick to help us to avoid unnecessarily stressing over psychological time during psychological time. He instructs his readers to ask him or herself that, do I have a problem now? Do you have a problem right now? If the answer
Mm-hmm.
is no, it motivates you and it refreshes you and it makes you feel strong. So all
Yeah.
what we do in life is we either complain or grumble about the past, or we are anxious about the future.
Future.
Very seldom do people live in the present moment. So they are brooding about their past and they're worrying about their future. But mindfulness is all about putting your focus, collective energy into the moment. And if you do that, if you are focusing in the moment, in the collective moment, the results change dramatically. So I will love to share a story here. There is a very interesting
Yeah.
friend of mine who told me, Ada, that
Mm.
there was a king who said that he's most intelligent. He gave death penalty to his most interesting minister and most intelligent minister. Now the intelligent minister was smart. So what he asked the king was that, you have given me the death penalty, but if I will you allow me to live if I can make a donkey fly? And you know what the king said? He felt very amused and he said, how can a donkey fly? He says, sir, I can make a donkey fly in the next
Mm.
5 years time. Give me 5 years time, I will make the donkey fly. The king agrees to it, and everybody is wondering what's happened. So he gets a life of additional 5 years. So
Correct.
this is what is there in the mind of the intelligent minister. What he thinks, 5 years is a long time. First and
Yeah.
foremost, I have earned 5 years.
Yeah.
Secondly, in 5 years, anything can happen.
Correct.
In the next 5 years, the king can die. In the next 5 years, he can die. Or in the next 5 years, the donkey will actually start to fly, or the donkey can die. So anything can happen. But he got a
Correct.
life of 5 years. Apparently, in the next 5 years, the donkey died. And he was supposed to be flying, making that particular donkey fly, so he could live for the rest of his life. That is intelligence, that is mindfulness, that is presence of mind. And that is how you can be absolutely having the presence of mind in most difficult situations and come out with solutions which might give you productive output. So that intelligent minister saved his life by a very smart move, which helped him to live further on. Now that's a joke. It's a hypothetical story that was told to me by
Yes,
one of my friends. But let me tell you something. In reality, this has happened so many times in our life that we think that something bad is going to happen. The time comes and goes by and nothing bad happens. In fact, something good happens better than what has happened in the past. So this is for all the people who are very panicky about what's going to happen in the future. You need to be mindful about today. You need to think about how you can sustain, survive, and grow. And the future is going to be good and great for all. You need to be mindful of a happy moment for the current moment. And happiness comes from a right frame of mind. If you think you're happy, you're right. If you think you're not happy, again, you're right. So let's think that we are happy and make happy moments for all of us around us.
absolutely. So if you are feeling happy or you want to feel happy and you're liking this conversation, so definitely please comment below because we're almost to the end of this wonderful conversation. Mr. Ignanu Rajesh, what message would you like to give to the audience, everyone who's watching us?
Well, wherever you are, be there totally. If you're in an activity currently with us on the show, be with us. Don't look at your WhatsApp, don't answer your emails, nothing. Wherever you are, whatever you do in life, throughout the life, every moment of your life, try to be focused on whatever you do. Secondly, my message to the audience is do a SWOT analysis of your strengths and weaknesses. Probably this is the best time to understand your strengths and replace your weaknesses with other people who can add them to you as your strengths. So your weaknesses can be converted to strengths. Be collaborative, start working with people so that you can do whatever you're doing in a much, much better way. So I think that should be my message to the audience. Be mindful of who you are. Be mindful of what you do. Be mindful of how you can do it better. Be mindful of how you can grow whatever you're doing, irrespective of the environment around you. And there are possibilities. If you become mindful, you'll get solutions and you'll get the ways forward.
Absolutely, that's amazing. And towards the end, given the current COVID situation, so what is the relevance of mindfulness? I mean, it's very difficult, but what is it?
It's very easy. Mindfulness is being in the present, being in the moment. Just do this deep breath exercise 3 times, 5 times, 10 times, for 2 minutes, 3 minutes, 5 minutes, whatever, before every session. So before I started the session with you, I took 5 deep breaths and I have started doing this as a practice during this pandemic. I have done
You
all
should
of
have
this.
told me also. It's
I
so
have done.
selfish.
I'm so
No,
sorry. I'm so sorry. But for your every show, you should start doing this.
yeah,
So
I'll
I've
do that.
started this as a practice. Now I'll be going to continue this for the rest of my life. Before each important meeting, before each important live show, or before each important activity that I'm going to get into, I'm going to collate my thoughts into one place. I'm going to breathe for those 3 breaths or for 2 minutes or 3 minutes, bring myself into the moment, bring myself into the present, wade away all the thoughts which need planning and which are concerns or which are anxiety moments. Keep them away for some time. They can be tackled when their time comes as matured time. But now focus on your current assignment and do justice to it by being the most productive and the most innovative in solving the situation at hand or in tapping the opportunity at hand. So this is what I do. This is what I recommend each one of you to start practicing. I'm sure it will make a sea change. And audience, thanks a ton. I see so many messages coming up. I can see so many messages. I will be replying to each one of the message that you have given. I'm grateful and thankful for your time, attention, focus, and your mindfulness of watching this entire show for the last 33 minutes, 27 seconds. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Mr. Rajesh. It was a pleasure talking to you and hearing from you.
Thank you so much, RJ Ada. Have a God bless future. It was a pleasure interacting with you, and thanks, my gratitude to the entire audience who was with me during this session. Thank you so much.
What is the first thing you're going to have after this? Are you a chai person or are you a coffee person?
So immediately I'm going to have a chai. I'm a chai person.
Oh, high five. So I'm going to go have it. See you.
Thank you
Thank
so
you.
much.
Bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.